Hi, Dan Swanö from Germany. Thanks for calling.
You're welcome.
All right, I guess we just get started since you probably have a ton of interviews. I have plenty of questions for you. Let's start with those related to your latest project, which I read that it all started because you met Ragnar, a colleague of yours at your previous workplace, and you discovered that he had a huge collection of unpublished materials, and you thought that collection is really cool. What exactly caught your attention in his collection? What triggered this interest for what he did?
I think it was, I expected, when I asked him for all those ideas he had, it was like, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that he was co-writing a lot of power metal at the time. And I was hoping to find some cool things that I could twist and turn into a Nightingale song. That was my plan. But instead I listened and listened to all the rest, and there was nothing there that really worked, but I knew it was quality. And then, like me, he's brought up on the hard rock of the 70s and the metal of the early 80s, and I haven't really done any project like Witherscape before, where there's a certain metal vibe to it, almost bordering on kind of softer thrash at times, guitar-wise. I've always been one foot in the prog and the hard rock, and maybe some kind of metal vibe for a few songs here and there. But I just felt that I want to make a really hard rock heavy metal album with some growling with this guy, because that's the kind of material that he was really good at writing. His kind of riffs would never work in any other context than that you write a song around it. So that's really when I got the idea to not use him only as a co-writer for a solo album or whatever. I think this guy must play his own ideas, and this is for me a great co-pilot for another new project, because he's so full of positive energy also, and for him this is all new. He never released an album before in his life, and I'm tired of working with these tired people that did this for 25 years, like myself. It's like, oh fuck, another album, oh it's so boring. But for him, everything about it is super cool.
Yep. But yeah, the next question is actually more or less related to your latest statement. What was the thing you missed the most when you were not producing or recording albums and just minding your regular job and such? Was there anything that you thought of very, very often?
I think it was, I kind of blocked out all this thing about the record industry. It was just kind of falling down for me. This whole thing with the download was killing off all the project bands, and everything turned more and more into a live performance, and you release albums to go on touring. For me, that's really not really why I am in it. I write songs to be able to mix them. It's pretty slow. I mean, I have the whole thing in my head. When I write a song, it's not like, oh, this will work in the rehearsal room, this will be cool live. It was never for me. It was like, this will sound great when it's recorded, and then you never play that song again, because now it's finished, like a painting or a movie or whatever. So for me, the idea that the whole record industry was fucked up was not actually giving me any wishes to sit down and compose. I don't know, it was just kind of around 2003, 2004, it was like, fuck that, let's become a much better engineer, because even though it's only downloads or whatever, people would need someone to mix their records. I want to be that guy, So, I mean, it's like anything. When you don't have a guitar standing next to your sofa and you sit down and play it, there's no songs going to be written. They don't write themselves. Jump on the hard drive, You need to actively write. You need to sit down, and that's really like having another job, It's really much work. And what kind of happened was that I just closed the door to the whole me being a productive musician was like locked up for a long time, actually. And it wasn't until I heard the ideas from Ragnar and I thought that maybe we could do something together. And at that time, I felt that I had really become a much better engineer. The one I wanted to be, I was becoming, and I got from A to B with my mixes a lot faster than I used to. And I felt maybe it's time for me to awaken that composer demon again. And And I needed something to do that. And a new Nightingale was like, we have no good deals. Then we will be boring. I felt that I want to go back to this, like when you did it only because you felt excited about it.
I see.
And I wanted to do something in a way I never did it before, at least not for 20 years. So with Ragnar, we could go back to the rehearsal room. I could play drums again after 10 years of not playing drums, and create something like we did it in the old days, and that was also new and fresh. And I guess that's the kind of change you need to wake up something that's been sleeping so long, And I never missed it, really. But I just saw, okay, now they release a record, now they go touring, and here I sit and mix. I have a great life, But I'm not saying that I was trying to be a rock star or whatever. I just released an album now because the timing was right. I felt like writing, and it turned out great. And I have a great label behind me. So this is like the second coming of me as a musician, and we will see what happens,
Yeah, we're happy you found the key back to that door that you closed earlier. You record a lot of instruments on your albums. What's the one you like the best? What's your baby?
I think it used to be that I hated doing the vocals because I felt that I sang out of tune, and I needed so much time getting my stuff together. But actually, when I recorded the Witherscape vocals, mainly the clean vocals, and I think it started with the session I had with Ari and Lucasen from Second Star One. I had developed some techniques to sing better, sing more powerful, and stay in tune. And I just kind of developed that from doing lots and lots of singing, actually, with guest appearances, high and low. And by the time I did the clean vocals for Witherscape, I actually felt like I was looking forward to sing. It was for me, it was like, oh shit, I have to sing. It would be one day to make one song sound okay, after auto-tuning and whatever shit. But this time for Witherscape, no auto-tuning, no cheating, just sing my fucking soul out, and it sounds great, for me. So now singing is actually my favorite part of making a record, because I feel I can finally sing the whole emotion from the lyric and don't hold back because I sing out of tune or whatever. It's like I finally came to the point where I can say to myself, you know how to sing.
Yeah, that's great.
It used to be that, I have a cool voice, but after 5 hours with the computer, it sounds okay. Now it's more straightforward. And drumming is still a little bit like you have to work with it. And guitars, it's also, I don't know. I just recorded some acoustic guitar here in the studio, and my fingertips are bleeding and my shoulders hurt. And I think, just like going to the dentist, you have to record that fucking guitar because that acoustic song needs to be on the record. But I'm looking forward to singing it like hell, because I think that's the icing on the cake. That's when everything comes to life.
That's great. What's the story of the Facebook cover photo when the two of you are talking to those aluminium cans? What are you transmitting to each other?
I think me and Ragnar discussed this, that we should make a photo session together with a guitar player from Millencolin. We have a professional photo studio. And I just felt that the two of us standing next to each other just looking like we don't care. This is not going to look cool. I'm fat, beardy, and this guy is skinny with a big mustache, and I think we will look weird, like, I don't know. So let's do something strange on the picture. And we're not the kind of guys with face paint and swords, So I just told Ragnar, let's come up with some weird things like you can do on a picture, like let's play a game of chess where you have all your parts and I have only the king left, and you look like super happy and I look super sad. And then we can make one where, and all these kind of ideas. Let's look through binoculars at each other from 2 centimeters distance. Like, where are you? And we have the same binoculars, and those are also really cool pictures. But the one with the can, where I scream at close distance, and he don't seem to hear me. This idea came to me because he told me that he did this trick with his son, and son couldn't quite understand this concept of the plastic cup, and he kept walking around the flat talking in this cup like it was a phone. He didn't get the idea with the string being stretched, and this. And I thought that's not a bad idea, but instead of let's do it with a really close distance. So I'm almost screaming in a picture that jumps, and Century Media seemed to be liking this strange pictures. Like I did this normal, passport photos, and I thought, oh, they look nice, but they know they are boring. We'll make a photo of you when you scream or jump or shoot yourself in the face or whatever. That's what they like.
That's
because
true.
it's so much images today on the internet. It's so much that something that gets the attention from a surfer for 1 second, that works. So yeah, I kind of like it.
We like it too. I had a chat with your brother a while ago, and he told me that when you were about 3 or 4, that's the beginning of your musical experience, you had this Italian type of organ or something, and you were always around when he and his friends would be jamming or something like that. Do you have memories of those times, and what do you remember that fascinated you the most when you were hearing music?
I remember really much from that time, actually, more than I do from some of my adult life, because this was your whole world. The idea that we would play with our band, The Forts, when I was, I think, 6 or 7, and I wrote songs, and I played on this orange organ, and my brother played drums, and my oldest brother, played bass. And we would rehearse in my brother's room, and I get to play my songs and hear them come to life. I would sing in this make-believe pretend English, and I would also learn the songs from my brothers, and they would sing about some employer from their day job that they hated, or some weirdo who lived on the street, and we actually have a lot of recordings from the Forts, probably like 20 songs or whatever, that I will release someday, because it's pretty funny to hear me singing this fake English. And for me, that was the super biggest thing, and I knew from an early age that I want to be a rock star, but I didn't really know the downside of like being any star, a football star, a hockey star. There's always the hard work that you don't get to know. You see them only on the TV. Oh, that looks like a cool life, But then you get it, all the reaction, all the hard work, all this shit that, and so many people never make it, So I gave up on my rock star dream, kind of somewhere in the middle of this whole Edge of Sanity thing, But it was for me this idea that to play music and then also to record music and listen back to it. That was from an extremely early age my obsession, I would say, and it still is actually.
I understand. After so many years of being in the music business, is there anything that still shocks you? That takes you by surprise?
Yeah, I would say that some things that seems to sell and be on the radio still shock me to this very day.
Okay, like that?
There's some music sometimes on this radio show we have, it's called 1 Live here in Germany, and some stuff that they play on that channel during daytime, it's just shocking, because it's so horribly bad that I cannot believe how anyone said, oh, that's a cool song, let's make a record, and then someone bought it and that it's a hit. It's just like weird noises and someone talking with an auto-tune robot voice and bleep and whatever, some annoying shit, it's like some of the hits in the last time where they sing the same thing over and over again, and I cannot believe it. Okay, maybe when you're drunk or stoned in a disco somewhere, okay, fine, but on daytime radio, it's super annoying, and that shocks me to this very day. What people actually consider music in 2013 is for me like, I don't understand it, sorry,
I'll never listen to German radio then. Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, it's really scary, but sometimes it's pretty cool. They play Germany is pretty open to, there are some Rise Against songs, even like fast drums, it's like, wow, it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, and they play this kind of Bad Religion stuff, and Billy Talent much, and then comes this, and I was like, what's going on? Is something wrong with the radio? No, that's a song. It's a big hit now, And for me, it's like, oh, I'm too old for this shit.
Have you ever seen your Wikipedia page? Yep.
I watched the English one is pretty cool, because there I am together with the 3 most famous persons from Finspång, my old hometown, and then there's me, For me, that's like surreal. There are 4 famous people coming from Finspång, and this is the 2 Olympic swimmer, one super famous golfer, And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool for my mother. You know, she printed this and then, cool. But I haven't looked at it at, like every day. So I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong on it. There always is, I guess.
I don't think there's something wrong with it. I was just curious if you ever saw that, because it's quite an impressive page. You must admit that. You put modesty aside, but it's an impressive page. Why did you use unicorn as the name of your project? I personally have something with unicorn, so I need to know why you used that.
Okay. Well, unicorn is long gone since 2000, and out of respect for that project, that actually died already. For me, band seems to die and come back to life. But like a zombie, you don't have all the charm like when you were alive. And that happened to Edge of Sanity, Katatonia, it happened to pretty much all my bands. Except Nightingale, it got better when we kind of came to the second life, you know, with members and all. But Unicorn was my musical baby growing up. And when we died, before we released the first album, that was a big blow to me, because I thought I could combine all these different careers, one with death metal and one with prog, but it turned out that Unicorn was this kind of band where you needed to pay all your attention to one project, or the thing just fell apart, and it did. And it nerves me to this very day that I let it go. But there was nothing I could do. I wouldn't be talking to you today if I would choose Unicorn over Edge of Sanity or whatever, you know, at that point. So, well, Unicorn, it's still kind of a ghost in my life that I just re-recorded all the vocals for our best recording, which is, it was released as a demo, but it's really 40 minutes long. It's called Collection of Worlds Part 2. It's got 8 songs on it, and I re-recorded all the vocals, and I shaped the sound up a little bit using modern technology. It was recorded on a cassette 4-tracker in 1989 and 1990, so it's pretty much like the worst nightmare for an engineer, but it actually sounds a lot better than you think. And hopefully it will be released on CD or download or vinyl or whatever in the future. So Unicorn is still very much alive, but more as a ghost from the past, you know, popping up every 10 years.
I like the sound of that ghost. That's cool. Is it easier to work with a band that you've already worked with and have learned their ways, or you prefer to work with new stuff that you can shape yourself?
You mean as a kind of a mix?
Yeah, when you produce, or when you're not involved in the project, but when you're behind the scenes.
Yeah, I like actually to work with. It's hard because it's always a long journey to get to know what they really want and how they really work as a unit. You know. So for me to work again with November's Doom or Hail of Bullet or bands like that is a certain safeness, you know, you just ask them, so we stick to the sound of the last record, maybe the drums from the first and the rest from the second, cool, you know, then there's no problem, you know, I know what, I just compare it and make the same sound, and they're super happy, and the rest is history, you know, but with a new band, it can be like weeks and weeks of trying, no, maybe this would be more like that, maybe that's not our sound after all, maybe we're supposed to sound like that, so that can be quite a drag, but it's always an exciting thing for me when a band finally find their sound for the first time, and I know all the members are jumping around in a circle in Norway or wherever they live, crying from joy to finally hear what they all wanted to hear all those years. That's also a really big thing, you know? So
yeah, that's true.
It's kind of a combination. I'm not afraid of jumping into unknown territories, but there's certain calm to work. Like now I work with the new Hail of Bullet, and the sound was ready within, 20 minutes, and then the rest is just spent on making it even more perfect in terms of detail and balance like the previous one. It's not like, oh, let's change the sound 180 degrees to something completely different, you know? So, I like when I know what I'm doing. It's always a good feeling.
I have 2 more questions, so I hope we can cover them in the next 5 minutes. What do you say if anybody tells you that you play the guitar upside down? What's your classical answer or reaction?
Well, I would say that in the early times I would say, I don't care, I'm not a guitar player. And I think it's justified for anyone who don't know really what the fuck they're doing to say that.
Wrong.
So, you, I don't know when it was, 98 or something like that. Then all of a sudden I stood up for the first time when I played guitar and realized I cannot play shit because it's really, you cannot, I mean, when I sit down and play, you can have this almost classical pose.
Yeah.
Where you can almost, you have the neck in your face, but then all of a sudden the neck is way down there and you have to look cool and you have to look straight forward and not on the guitar. So then, fuck, now I have to become a guitar player. And at that point, I began to curse this happening that why could I not play in the normal so I could buy a Les Paul or a cool Strat? No, I have to turn the shit upside down. I get all the fucking knobs and the cable and the balance wrong. Where do I put the fucking guitar strap, So it wasn't actually until a year ago when I actually bought my first real guitar, which is a weird combination of a left-handed body with a right-hand neck. And I just put this together in parts I bought from America, and it cost a shitload of money, and it was really hard to make it all fit because you're fucking with nature when you put two things together. But I can finally enjoy standing up, playing, and it's like the right balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say now I feel like maybe I am a guitar player after all. I spent so much money on an instrument, then that qualifies. I just buy drum kits for, I don't know, 5,000 euros, and guitars were always like, I could trade it for a video game. Okay, that's a good guitar, But now, yeah, it's like, I would say that none of the riffs that I have written that are so strange and that made people go like, wow, that's a sick riff. They are written upside down. That's what makes them sick. And no man in his right, or a woman for that case, would sit one day and say, maybe I should reverse the strings on my guitar just for fun, so I don't know how to play anything.
That's
but
an
if
awesome
you would try it, you would write some sick shit. Because when I play on the left-handed guitar without reversing the string, so it's like for a normal left-handed guitar player, I write the sickest riff. If I play solo on the bass strings and riffs on the solo strings, it's a mess,
Well,
but it actually opens up.
Then please go back to the cheap guitars. They sounded really good. Yeah, and the last question is, what do you think keeps a band together after all the years that you've been in this business? After everything you've seen, any band in general. It's a general question.
I think when it comes to really a band, I think that there must be some kind of personal chemistry, and there must be some kind of musical, like, communication on another level than just like that you learn the songs. Like me and Ragnar have this extremely good connection. And what scares me a little bit is trying to find more people that have that connection. That's going to be really tough.
Mm-hmm.
You will always need some guys who are in charge and some guys who are just the players. And I think when a band have been together for so long, like Rush or U2 or these bands, without changing members, they would also not have a problem to go together a week on holiday and don't bring instruments. Mm-hmm. They enjoy each other's company. And I used to say this all the time to the guys in Nightingale when we started rehearsing. I said, I don't know what's going on with me, but when I come home, I have my stomach. It's like someone punched me there for a week. Because I laugh so much. I laugh more than I talk. Sometimes we laugh, so we look forward so much to this moments when we just sit down and drink coffee or eat pizza or whatever, because the conversation is so excellent. Because the way my brother and Eric Trigger and Tom and me, we just sit there and laugh our brains out. That's really what makes Nightingale still being considered a band after so many years. We never had that joy in Edge of Sanity. It was never there. And that's why things imploded. I think the reason is, first and foremost, you need to really enjoy the company of your band members, and then you need to have music that's also special. And when you have those two parameters, there's no stopping. Like, it's just so, I think when you're not friends, or you don't even enjoy your band members, you can have the best music going, but there will never be that special joy.
Yep.
And eventually, when you're stuck at an airport or whatever for 25 hours, you will see these guys are just assholes. Why am I doing music with them? Then the music is gone, and that's why bands implode.
I see. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I would still talk to you, but it's only 25 minutes, so I'll just stop for now.
Maybe one more question. I should call the next guy.
Okay. What's your biggest failure? musically?
My biggest
failure.
My biggest failure. I don't know. Really, I think I can honestly say that I haven't really done that, because music is so important to me that I would never let anything go that I consider a failure in this way. So I'm pretty proud of all my work, even though some of this is like satanic death metal with Infested or whatever. I can honestly say I enjoy listening to all that stuff, even the most corny shit you can find on YouTube when I'm 12 or whatever. I love all that stuff because I'm my own biggest critic, and I don't let anything pass that I think is sucks, you know. But failure in one way could be that I never properly learned how to growl, so that I could make a career out of that, because I still can only growl for like 10 minutes and then my voice is gone. So that was for many years something that made me really pissed and sad. Like, why can I not be like the other guys who can go on a 30-day tour of America and growl for an hour every day, you know? Why do I have to kill my voice on the first sound check and then sound like a monkey for the rest of the gig? So that would be, but that's not really failure, because I didn't really make that much touring, you know? But for me, that's the big what if, you know? What if I could have growled and be a cool frontman? Then what would have happened with Edge of Sanity? That's maybe kind of an answer to your question.
Yeah, it did. Thanks a lot. And hopefully we'll get the chance to see this new project in at least one concert where you will not lose your voice. That would be really awesome.
I have to find someone who growled for me. You know, I have 3 excellent growling guests on the Witherscape record, and I think one of those guys could actually perform all the growling parts without a problem.
Cool.
So if that would happen, it would sound, you know, I have a few guys that I know that could sing like me, but for like an hour. So that I would not let that stop me. But at the moment, it's a money thing. Putting a band together and rehearse, and me living in Germany and Ragnar in Sweden doesn't make anything easier, you know.
I can imagine that. But I can hope. I can keep the hope alive.
Yeah,
and I will.
There's always hope.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yes, bye-bye.
Thank you.